friends. Welcome back to the Coffee with Jesus podcast. I am your host, Jane Eddy, and it is wonderful to have you here again. What's good? How are we doing? I hope everyone is fine. I hope we're all okay. So this episode was supposed to drop last week Sunday. It was supposed to drop on Sunday the 12th, but today is Sunday the 19th. And if you follow our Instagram, if you follow Coffee with Jesus on Instagram, or if you follow me on Instagram, then you may know that the reason why the episode didn't drop is because I fell sick, so I couldn't record. But I'm cool now. I'm okay now. My healing has been made perfect. I'm fine now. Thank you so much to everyone who called, texted, everyone who reached out and sent in prayers, everyone who checked up on me. Thank you so much. I am grateful. God bless you. So let's get into what we have for today. Episode 5. Before we get into what we have for today, guys, we are in episode 5, the final episode of this season. Welcome. I welcome you again. I welcome you again to the final episode of this season. It has been 5 weeks of showing up for kingdom work, even when I didn't feel like it, because I'll tell you guys the truth, it's not every time that you will feel so energetic, so hyped up to do some of these things. Sometimes it's really draining. But we thank God for strength. We thank Him for grace. I hope that this podcast has blessed you in one way or another. I'm so grateful to everyone who has listened to every single episode up until this point. I'm grateful to everyone who has shown love and support towards this podcast. Thanks to the people who send in their reviews about episodes that they listen to. Thank you to everyone who has followed Coffee with Jesus on Instagram. Thank you to everyone who showed interest in being a part of the Coffee with Jesus team. Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless you. Right into what we have for today. So a couple of days ago, someone texted me on WhatsApp saying that she needed to talk to me about an issue that she was facing in her life as a Christian. So she said, and I quote, "So I've reached a point in my life where I don't know where I stand if the trumpet sounds. I feel like I do good and I live right, humanly speaking. I mean, I don't partake in some of the wrong activities that some of my fellow teens partake in, but at the same time, I feel like I don't do the will of God enough. I don't spread His word. I just feel like I don't work for Him well. It's like I'm stuck in the middle. So I want to know your thoughts on what I should do to feel more worthy of the kingdom." So I told her, right? I said, the problem is simple to identify. You are struggling with these things because you are not in love with Jesus yet. So if this is you too, if this is your situation as well, I'm saying to you now that these things are entirely hard for you because you are not in love with Christ. So far, we've had 4 episodes on this podcast, but everything we've spoken about will be hard for you to practice if you are not in love with the Master. So I cited the example of, being in a relationship with someone. If you when you love someone, right, you truly love this person, and this person truly loves you. Even if the person didn't truly love you, you would do things that you do things to please this person because you're in love with this person. But let's just use the example of if the person also loved you as well. So you both love each other, right? There will be so much difference between that relationship and a relationship where love does not exist. Because in this relationship where love abides, there is so much room for sacrifice. Sometimes you don't think of how this thing is going to affect you, so long as it makes the other person happy and you're not really losing much. You would want to always do things to make this other person happy because you're in love. That's the same way it is with Christ. That's the same way it is with God. If when you are in love, so many of these things that you're finding hard to do, they will no longer be hard for you. Like I said, everything we've spoken about on this podcast till this point, till everything we've spoken about from episode 1 to episode 4, if you are not in love with Christ, all those things will be difficult for you to practice and live out. Do you understand? So some people fall in love with and then fall out of love. And the truth is that it is your responsibility to stay in love. The thing about love is that it is more than just feelings. It is more than just feelings. Love is a decision. So feelings make you fall in love, but deciding keeps you in love. Deciding keeps you in love. I'll say that again. Feelings make you fall in love, but deciding keeps you in love. You have to decide to stay in love with Christ. You have to be able to say, okay, Lord, it's just me and you now. It is me and you now, and I will seek you. Because the Bible says, if you seek, God said in the Bible, the Lord said in the Bible, if you seek me, you will find me. You have to be able to put all your heart into your relationship with Jesus. You have to be able to put all your heart into your relationship with Jesus, because love is not easy. There will be difficulties. There will be hard times. There will be tough situations. But it is the ability for you to decide that keeps you in love despite the difficulties. So when you fall in love with Christ, ensure that you stay in love with Christ, because this love helps you do things for Him without, thinking much about what you're not. The thing is that when you're doing for Christ, it might, at some point, what might look like you're losing something is you're not actually losing anything. You can't do stuff for Christ and you lose out on the good life that He has brought us to the earth to live. Fall in love and stay in love with Christ. Fall in love and stay in love with Christ. One thing about being in a relationship with Christ, as in like you're really in love with Christ, is that your problem is no longer not sinning, or your problem is not what you're thinking about most of the time is not, oh, I don't want to do this, is a sin. If I commit this sin, I will go to hell. That's not what is in you. That's not what you have in your heart anymore. Where there's a point you will reach with Christ, where your only interest is making Jesus happy. And when you're making Jesus happy, it means that, okay, you're not committing sin, you're not doing all those things. But then the focus is different. Your focus is no longer, I don't want to sin, so I don't go to hell. Your focus becomes, what I'm doing, is it making the Lord happy? Is it making my master happy? Is Jesus happy with this? And then when you think about it according to His word and you know if He's happy or not, then that now makes you know whether what you're doing is wrong or right. But my point is that your focus shifts when you fall. There's a point you reach in your relationship with Christ where you're not thinking about not sinning. All you're thinking about is making the Lord happy. I don't know if you understand. Because when you're in love with anybody, you don't want to make this person unhappy, because your happiness lies in their happiness. That's the same way it is with Christ. Your happiness lies where his happiness lies. That's why we should always pray that God helps us and that our hearts will align more with his heart. Stay in love. Stay in love, and you will not have to worry too much about what your fate will be when the trumpet sounds. Ask yourself, are you really in love? Or you're just trying to do these things because you don't want to go to hell? Or you're just trying to do these things, you're just doing these things religiously? Because there's a difference between being religious and being in a relationship. When you're religious with the things of God, you're doing those things because that is what you're supposed to do. If you don't want to go to hell, those are the rules, blah blah blah. But when you're in a relationship, you're doing these things because your heart wants to do them to make your master happy. When you're in a relationship with Christ, you do these things not because of your fear of hell, but because of your love for Christ. I pray that God helps us to stay in love. I pray that God strengthens us. So I pray for you that your heart, as each day passes, your heart becomes more aligned with the will of God. Your heart becomes more aligned with the heart of God in the name of Jesus. The goodness and the mercy of the Lord will follow you all the days of your life, not on some days, not only on your good days, but all the days of your life. In the name of Jesus, you are blessed and highly favored. The joy of the Lord is your strength. The peace of the Lord is your portion. It is well with you and your household. It is well with your parents. It is well with your siblings. It is well with your family, both extended, nuclear and extended family. It is well with you. Thank you so much for following us through this season. We will be on a break for a while. I have school. I have exams coming up. I just want to focus, this semester. So we'll probably start episode 2 when I'm done with this semester. Thank you so much for your love and support. Thank you so much for listening. I pray that, you've been blessed by 1 or 2 of our episodes so far. Please follow us on Instagram if you haven't, at Coffee with Jesus. There's no underscore or full stop in between. It's just Coffee with Jesus with 2 S's at the end instead of 1 S. So Coffee with Jesus on Instagram. Thank you so much. Please follow us and tag us on your stories when you can tag us on your stories when you're listening, or when you listen to any of our episodes. You can post on your stories and tag us. Please follow us. Introduce us to your families. Introduce us to your friends. Coffee with Jesus is here for the people. It is here for you. It's here to bring you closer to the Lord. Thank you so much. See you in episode 2. God bless you. We are rooting for you. So we urge you to, re-listen to some of our episodes and just feed your spirit with edifying things, right? Edifying content. Feed your spirit with edifying content. While we will not be dropping new episodes, we urge you to just continue to feed your spirit. We are rooting for you. All of us at Coffee with Jesus, we are rooting for you, and we love you so much. Bye everyone. See you in season 2.